I think that win, what that'll do to City and Haaland getting his goal, that'll put a bit more pressure on Arsenal, I think.
I'm not even a Liverpool fan, but I looked at that and was like, the whole thing's just anti-football.
I feel for Thomas Frank at the minute because he looks tired. He looks like he's aged 10 years since he's been at Tottenham, and that's what that Tottenham job has done.
I think we need Wayne to give Ryan Cherky some pointers on how to actually score a goal from the halfway line.
It was like watching the curling at the Winter Olympics.
Okay, well, there is only one place we can start this week's Wayne Rooney show off with. Quiet game at Anfield on Sunday, Wayne. You watched that in the Match of the Day studios. It had pretty much everything, didn't it?
Yeah, no, I thought it was a great game. I thought maybe not the quality in which we've seen over, the last few years in the Man City Liverpool game, but I thought City started the game really well. First half with a better team by quite a long way, I thought. And then second half, Liverpool come out and a lot of energy, a lot of intensity, and took the game to City. And it deservedly went 1-0 up. Great strike from Szoboszlai again. And then obviously a great finish to the game. I think Bernardo Silva was everywhere during the game. Thought really good. Gets a goal and Haaland with the penalty. And then the madness at the end of...
What was going on there, man?
What did they were checking for a penalty for Liverpool as well, weren't they? And then Cherky shoots and Haaland gets pulled back. Then he pulled Szoboszlai back and goal gets disallowed and a free kick and a red card. So yeah, it's I suppose in the rules it's the right decision, but I think I seen Pep talking about after the game, a bit of common sense probably would have been better, but it would have been interesting to see if it was 1-1, because that would have caused massive issues, problems. I think.
No, 100%. But I think that's taking the fun out of the game, man. That is VAR getting involved when they don't need to. Why are you interfering with that? I mean, I don't think it benefits anybody that for you to interfere there and give Szoboszlai a red card. I'm not even a Liverpool fan, but I looked at that and was like, the whole thing's just anti-football. There was no fun about it. Like, what that had the potential to be one of the best footballing moments of the season, and it's just been ruined.
It was easier just to give the goal away and see the game, let them kick off and the referee finish the game. But they have gone by the rules. But again, I'm sure everyone at Liverpool City, probably around the country, wouldn't have minded if they let the goal stand.
I just thought it was made even more interesting by the fact that Haaland and Szoboszlai are really good mates as well, aren't they? It must be horrible going in that situation. Like Haaland said at the end, didn't he? I feel really bad for him because he's now got a 3-game ban. I guess, Wayne, both teams are just left unhappy, and that's probably why it feels even more wrong.
Yeah, well, I think for Haaland, because obviously when it was a foot race, Haaland, you could clearly see was going to win the race, and he had to tap in. He would have just tapped it in, got a second goal. So yeah, I think... listen, it's an odd moment in it, one which you'd never really see. So I suppose that's why everyone's going to be talking about it and questioning the decision. To be fair to the officials, and I've had to go with officials all season, they have gone by the rules, and I suppose they've got the right decision. But a bit of common sense would have been nice for once.
When we first came on here, we were debating because Haaland did say that Szoboszlai was going to get a 3-game ban. We think it's just a 1-game ban. In fact, let's bring in Dale Johnson now, the BBC Football Issues correspondent, because he can help us, hopefully, Dale, clear it all up. Firstly, is it just a 1-game ban?
Dale. Yeah, it's just a one game ban for denying a goal scoring opportunity. Yeah, so it just misses midweek.
All right, now do the hard bit and decipher all the rest of it, please, will you?
Yeah, so the important thing is really you've got to separate the two incidents. I think the reason why it seems so confusing and unjust to people is because the initial pullback from Haaland when he was going to go through to score is what people will look at and say, well, it was going to be a goal. But you've then got to separate that to the second part, which is Szoboszlai was about to slide in and stop the ball going into the net. And he couldn't do that because he was pulled back by Haaland. So in essence, Manchester City would have scored a goal because Haaland had committed a foul. And really, I called it live when it happened that this was going to end up with a disallowed goal and a red card, because I just do not see how, even though football will hate it, fans will hate it, about the spirit of the game. I just don't see how the VAR could leave it alone when Szoboszlai could have stopped the goal. So all that's happened here is the VAR has taken it back to the original decision, which would have happened because if Szoboszlai would have cleared it off the line, the referee would have pulled back the advantage and shown the red card. So what has actually happened is what would have happened if Haaland hadn't pulled back his opponent.
I get what you're saying, but I mean, if you're going to send somebody off for a goal scoring opportunity, the ball's gone in the back of the net, innit? I get it's the second part, I know.
But would it have gone in the back of the net without the foul? That's the question. It did go in the back of the net because of the foul. So that's the question.
Yeah, I know. But it just doesn't feel right. Do you know what I mean, Dale? Yeah, the rules have got in the way of the beauty of the game. But
I think it's also because the end of the game was so dramatic and Liverpool were pushing up and it was like this was going to be the perfect ending to a game which was totally crazy in the last 10 to 15 minutes. It would have been like the icing on the cake for the match. And because it was stripped away, I think that's what really people don't like. And it makes people feel like it's anti-football, even though really I don't think it is in this specific case.
It's definitely the right decision in the end, but it's just obviously, it's frustrating and once you look at the rules, you understand why it's given, but it just takes all the passion. And I think I prefer it not to have VAR because I think it's terrible. I think it gets good decisions, of course it does, but when it gets big decisions wrong, I'm not in this case it hasn't, but when it gets big decisions wrong, then I just think it's there to get decisions right, and ultimately it needs to be doing that more than what it is, in my opinion.
But I just think like it's the last minute of the game. Football's meant to be about fun and happiness. Just like everybody just wants to go home. Like let the goal stand. Let's all get out. Yeah.
Think of it this way: Szoboszlai can't play in midweek now. Where I can't remember if Liverpool are playing midweek, but would their opponents want Szoboszlai to actually miss the game? When they'd probably prefer it, wouldn't they? And what about if that?
But I've lost the Premier League title on goal difference, so that goal,
I was literally about to say that.
That goal might make a big difference.
That one goal could be important to Liverpool as well, in terms of that conceded goal could make a difference to them. So it works on both sides in terms of that.
I think we need Wayne to give Ryan Cherky some pointers on how to actually score a goal from the halfway line. Because if he just put some welly behind it, right? Like if he just hit that with a bit of intent, none of this would be happening. It was just the slowest ball going over the line.
We were saying here, Joe. I was saying in here when we watched the game, it's like it was like watching the curling, the Winter Olympics.
Yeah.
Good analogy.
It's so true.
Slow, I was rolling in that slow. But no, it was a good moment, and it was a fun moment, and it's obviously being taken away from us. So
whatever happens, we're still going to be talking about it, though, aren't we? When people are saying we've been robbed of one of the best moments of the season, we haven't, because we still got to see it, just in a slightly different way. Dale, before we let you go, because there's so much to get into with this game, I just wanted to ask you about the Manchester City penalty as well for Alisson's foul on Matheus Nunes. The ball appeared to be heading out. Well, it was. Did you view that as a penalty?
Yeah, I think it's a tough one because it's clearly that the penalty's been played for, hasn't it? Because he knows that the keeper's coming. So he's using the keeper coming out. But the bottom line is that the keeper has come out in a way whereby he's collided with the attacker. So I think that's one of those penalties where it's not really going to cause that much controversy, even though the player certainly knows what he's trying to win in that situation.
Wayne, I'm interested in what the Match of the Day office were saying at that point, because you'd had a goalkeeper and a forward in there.
It's a penalty, in my opinion, definitely. I think Alisson, who's an experienced keeper, great goalkeeper, has just made the wrong decision. He's come out and nowhere near the ball and takes the attacker out. So it's a clear penalty. We had it years ago with Paul Robinson when we played Blackburn, Chicharito, very similar. And I think the ball was still in play when Alisson, even though Silva's not going to get, was Silva?
And Nunes thing.
And even though he's not going to get there to keep the ball in play, but the ball's still in play when Alisson takes him out. So it's 100% penalty from my point of view.
Dale, thank you for joining us. I imagine it's been a busy evening, and I imagine everyone from the BBC has pretty much been ringing you saying, can you explain that one to us?
It's certainly a busy evening now, that's correct.
Well, we'll let you go. Thank you for joining us. It probably won't be the last time we'll speak to you this season.
Great, thanks very much.
Let's discuss the game as a whole Wayne, and the first half, you said before that Manchester City were by far the better team. What did you think wasn't working for Liverpool in the opening 45?
I think they were really struggling in midfield to get to grips with City, and Semenyo coming in off the line, Silva. City were getting in some really good positions in behind the midfield and causing big problems. And even Haaland, I think Haaland had a different game today to what he normally would. I think he created 3 or 4 really good chances for City as well. He obviously gets an assist in the second half and a goal, but it was a different performance. He went at his best, but he was a bit more creative and trying to set his teammates up than maybe I've seen him in the past. It was. And then Liverpool towards second half were fantastic and really, overpowered City, if you like, and Man City were. And they've done that this season. The second half of games, they tire a lot, and they find it difficult in the second half of games. And they've done well to obviously come back and win the game. But I thought Liverpool deserved more out of the game with the performance second half.
Were you a little bit disappointed with Liverpool's front line, or do you think Donnarumma and Man City were just insane today?
Yeah, no, I thought the front line second half I thought were good. Some really good moves from Liverpool. Donnarumma obviously made an unbelievable save towards the end from McAllister as well. I thought Mark Gay was really good today as well. So I think there was a bit of both really. I thought City defensively stuck in there, which allowed them to go and get something and win the game. But I thought the Liverpool attacking players second half certainly opened City up at times, and there was just some last minute blocks from Gay and saves from Donnarumma, which saved City.
Another stunning Szoboszlai free kick as well, wasn't it? Gosh. Yeah,
it was incredible because we were looking at it. The only thing I'd say there is we know he can do it. He done it against Arsenal early on in the season, and the decision to have 2 men in the wall, I thought was a strange one. Maybe
ridiculous, wasn't it? I was looking at that. I was like, how did you let that? Because like you said, you've seen it happen all season. Why wouldn't you just put 3 or 4 men in a wall?
Yeah, no, that's the only criticism I can say, because other than that, Donnarumma's got no chance. The way he strikes it, it's a bit like Roberto Carlos, not as much whip on it, but it was an unstoppable free kick. Brilliant.
And just a word on, we mentioned the penalty, a word on how Erling Haaland would have been feeling stepping up to take that penalty, because there was a lot of pressure on it and he's perhaps not been in the form that we know that he can find.
Yeah, he'll be used to that, though. It's pressure and taking a penalty at Anfield. I've done it for Everton a few years back. You're nervous with every penalty because you just don't want to miss. You don't want to miss the penalty, and it was a really good penalty as well to go to open his body up and go that corner. He needed the right amount of pace on it to beat Alisson, because he obviously went the right way. So it was pressure, but you can see the relief after he scored it. You could see the celebration. Obviously, he gets the yellow card for it, but the relief that he has scored. I think it's his first goal at Anfield as well. So that will have been on his mind as well. So no, it was a very good penalty, I felt.
He enjoyed it, didn't he, Kay? You could tell he enjoyed the celebrations for that goal and at full time as well.
Yeah, you started to see him smile again. I think throughout the game he looked a bit frustrated at points, but it just goes to show, like, for a lot of strikers and stuff, you just need that little goal that gets you back to being yourself again. And he looked so much happier. He was joking around with Mark Gahey at the end and stuff as well. Bit of personality about him again. So I think it's good for City, and they can push on and try and close that gap with Arsenal now.
I think what it shows that when you have a little bit of dip in form and your confidence goes a little bit, it affects everyone. So, you look at Haaland, one of the best strikers in the world, and just a little bit of loss of confidence in front of goal, it does affect anyone. And so just for him to go stand up and take that penalty and score, and no doubt now that he'll go on another run. The worrying thing is for Arsenal now, obviously, to put a good gap, but I think that win, what that'll do to City and Haaland getting his goal, that'll put a bit more pressure on Arsenal, I think.
Wait, and you didn't have a lot of goal droughts, but you see when you had a period where you weren't scoring, did it affect anything outside of the pitch as well? So like in your daily life, were you just a bit more frustrated and annoyed at certain things?
Yeah, no, you obviously you can almost do too much and over analyze things as well, and you're trying more difficult. You want to show you're a good player still, to be honest, and so you're trying harder passes, or you're trying to score from 30 yards and stuff like that. Where the main thing really is just to keep everything simple and get in front of the goal and hope that you get the opportunity to score. But yeah, I think you probably do overanalyze everything outside the pitch. I don't think it affects you that much. You're probably a little bit quieter, but that's it.
Okay, how do you think this leaves the title race? Because as neutrals, it certainly makes it exciting, doesn't it? And the fact that Arsenal still have to go to the Etihad too.
I think this is massive for City, and I think if they'd have lost this, I think Arsenal would have been a lot more confident about.
Bernardo Silva said it, didn't he? He said post-match. I knew something like I think the whole team knew that before the game we had the feeling that it would be over if we didn't win.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think, do you know what? It's still pretty early. I think, what is it now? 6-point gap. I don't think that's massive, and I think all it takes is a couple results not to go your way, and it can be really detrimental. But the way Arsenal are playing, I think that loss against United was a bit of a wake up call for them, and they've gone and it spurred them on a little bit more. But I think having City hot on their tails is only good for the league, and it's going to be a much better title race, because I don't want to see it wrapped up and done by February.
Still a lot of games to go.
Oh, there's the former manager in him coming out, isn't it? There's a lot of games to go. How will Mikel Arteta have been feeling watching the end of that game, though, Wayne? When Liverpool 1-0 up, he will have been happy. And then, yeah, it does just put a bit of... I mean, ultimately, though, I was thinking about it. It's just where we started the weekend. It was 6 points at the start of the weekend. Nothing's changed.
The effect it can have is huge, because I remember when we were in title races, and if you played the Saturday or you played earlier and you win, and then you see the gap at 9 points just by coming back to 6. And the way it's happened as well, because obviously Liverpool going a goal up, you're thinking, if this stays at 9 points, then, what a boost that is for us. But then City coming back, you waste energy watching it 100%. And so I'm sure Arteta will be just telling his players to focus on their job, what they have to do, because you can get caught up in it and looking at other people's results, and I don't think that's a good thing.
Do you think that's going on with the Arsenal lads right now? Do you think they're looking at other results and stuff and going,
100%,
we might be...
100%, yeah. And they'll be looking at the fixtures coming up and trying to work out how many points they feel they'll win or City will win. You get caught up in it all, and in the end, all that matters really is if you win your games. That's it.
What does this all mean for Liverpool, Wayne? 6th and 4 points behind Chelsea. I'm sure you'll be very quick to point out they're also 5 behind Man United in that battle for the top 4 or those European places. Where does it leave them? I'm going to say it before you guys were about the fact that United were ahead.
Is it 5? I didn't realise it was 5 points.
Yeah, they're lagging behind, Wayne. I know. It's almost like...
Oh, you made me almost go and double check. Of course you knew.
Normality is being restored. Arsenal, Man United getting better, and then Liverpool going back down. It's amazing.
No, I think for Liverpool, it's the whole season really has been a concern for Liverpool, and as obviously I've pointed out on here many times. But yeah, I actually thought the second half they were brilliant today, and they have been good in certain games and not picked up the results. So yeah, I think it just brings a little bit more pressure on Arne Slot, I'd imagine. And now they've got a battle on to try and make a Champions League place. So yeah, I think there'll be pressure coming on Arne Slot at the end of the season. I don't think Liverpool will change anything now, but in the summer it'll be really interesting depending on where Arne Slot's job might be that he has to finish the Champions League places. So that brings another pressure on.
Fifth will probably get you Champions League, and I reckon they can get 5th. But if he doesn't get Champions League, he's gone. Xabi Alonso is already booking.
Stop this! I'm sure you're his agent every week.
He is. He's looking around houses in the northwest, and he's trying to see if his old gaff is still there. Trust me.
Right, that's a debate for another day. Let's move on to one of the other big talking points from the weekend. Tottenham captain Cristian Romero was sent off for the second time this season. Of course, you guys will have seen this one because it came in the 2-0 defeat to Manchester United. We will come on to that, guys. But his disciplinary record hasn't been great, Wayne. He's had 6 red cards since he joined Spurs. He's the first player to be sent off twice this season. There's so many stats kind of going against him, but given everything, the backdrop of everything going on at Spurs, how detrimental was that, and how would you feel as his teammate or his manager?
I actually think it was a little bit harsh, the red card yesterday. And I can see why it's been given. But I think he's gone with a sad foot, and I think it's a little bit harsh, but I can see why it's been given. I think for players, I've played against or played with players, I was like that as well. Sometimes you lose your head at times, and I think he's done that throughout his time at Tottenham. I think what doesn't help, obviously, is his comments in the week before about the lack of players Tottenham have. He's clearly speaks his mind as well. But unfortunately, you've got to go and back that up with performances when you're vocal like that, and I don't think he's done that. So, I think all it's got to do is bring more pressure on Thomas Frank. I think, which I feel for Thomas Frank at the minute, because he looks tired. He looks like he's aged 10 years since he's been at Tottenham, and that's what that Tottenham job has done to him in a short period of time. So I hope they stick with him because he's a fantastic manager, but I think it's going to be very difficult for them to do that. And you don't need your captain going out getting sent off on a regular basis or being as vocal as he was this week.
It's just petulance, isn't it? It's like, I don't know. I think if I saw my club captain doing that, I'd be devastated. Because do you know what? We talk about like how important leaders are in the dressing room in modern football and how there's a lack of leaders and whatever. You don't want your leaders going out there and doing that. What are lads like Xavi Simons and the younger lads in that squad meant to look up to if that's your captain?
Yeah, but I think that happens, and sometimes you're captain for that reason. You know, how many times we've seen Alan Shearer, we've seen Roy Keane as captains of football clubs, myself, Steven Gerrard, going and getting sent off in big games.
But they backed it up on the pitch.
Yeah, no, but for making silly decisions. So that's just part of the game, and sometimes, you know, that enthusiasm, that drive to go and win boils over at times, and unfortunately that's the case. You look at Zidane in the World Cup final, his last ever game. Imagine how he felt after that game when they lose that and stuff like that. So, and what his teammates felt then when they lose that. So it happens. I think it's part of the game, and you just hope that he'll learn from it and try and improve on his disciplinary record.
Wayne, does it change your mentality when you are captain? So did you play slightly differently when you were captain? Because I guess you still want to be the same player, but you have that added responsibility. Did you change at all?
You try not to. I think normally, when I become captain, I was a little bit older, and I have matured on the pitches as well. So, I think you think about the game a little bit more, and you're thinking, when you're young, you're just playing, and you're thinking about trying to score goals all the time and help the team win games. Where when you're a bit older and you do become captain, you're trying to be an example for your teammates, but also you're that link between the manager and your teammates as well. So you're sort of in an in-between position of teammate and manager, and so you just need to get that balance right. But I don't think it changes you that much on the pitch.
I think though he's put his club into such a bad position right now, because this is his second sending off, I think, at the season. So now he's getting a 4-game ban, and they're potentially in a relegation battle now as well.
That was my next question to Wayne. Do you think that Thomas Frank's looking over his shoulder? Are they in a relegation battle, Wayne? Yeah,
you'd have to say they are. The current form, West Ham have been in good form. Forest are in and out, so they pick up results here and there. I think it's 7 games. Tottenham haven't won in the last 7 games, so they have to be. I think they can't think that they're not. in a relegation battle where they are. So yeah, I think they'll definitely be looking over the shoulder.
It's so ridiculous as well for a club like Tottenham to be in that position. They're the 9th richest club in the world. They've got one of the best stadiums in the world. They've got a brilliant training ground, but the fans don't care about any of that. Like, who cares if like Beyonce's playing at your stadium if you can't win a couple of football
I went and
matches?
watched her there. She was very good.
No, but I'm saying like because the talk from the board and stuff is, oh, look at what we've done and etc. etc. But that doesn't mean anything when you can't win football games and win trophies.
I think the frustration from the fans is it's boiling over, obviously because of results, but I don't think they know who to blame now that Daniel Levy's gone. Whether who did he blame on the board, or is it the manager, is it the players? So, and I think that's why for Thomas Frank, he's probably getting more than he would have normally if Daniel Levy was still there, say, for instance. So, so that's why I feel for him. And ultimately, Tottenham are not, the players have not been good enough. So I think they're the ones you have to look at.
If I'm putting my 2 pence in, I think Thomas Frank needed to go a lot earlier in the season. I think, I know they always say give managers a time. I think we're giving managers too much time at the moment. I think some managers, you could tell after about 3 or 4 games, you're out of depth here. This club is way too big for you. Thanks, but this isn't going to go any further. And I think the Tottenham board should have made that decision a while back.
No, I still think he's a fantastic manager, and what he's done at Brentford shows that. And sometimes clubs suit you, sometimes it doesn't. But for Thomas Frank now, I think he's just got to keep going and try and get the lads to pick up more points and hope for the best in the summer, I think. Whereas now, if Tottenham be looking, if they do get rid of him, who did he bring in? Do they have a positive effect on the team, on the pitch? So I'm sure they'll be looking at all different scenarios and trying to go with the best decision.
There's a Portuguese manager that's free if they want it.
The one thing Thomas Frank did say post-match was that he was pretty pleased at like the spirit that they showed, because obviously they went behind, or they went down to 10 men quite early on. So there was one positive to get from him there. But from a Manchester United point of view, don't worry, we don't ever do a podcast without talking about Man United, especially when they've won. What did you make of it, Wayne? Because the calls for Michael Carrick to get the job are only getting louder.
Yeah, and listen, he's been incredible. I think the biggest thing I could say is I'm enjoying watching Man United play, and there's a buzz around the football club which there hasn't been for a long, long time. So I think that's a huge pat on the back for Michael, for all his coaches he's brought in, because, and I was at what game was it? The previous game, the Fulham game. And it just suits him. It suits Michael Carrick when you look down in the dugout and he's stood there. He's got a calmness about him. He's making the right decisions, the right changes at the right time. And obviously they've won the 4 games. So you just hope he keeps the performance up, keeps getting results, and almost forces Man United to make decisions to give him the job. But yeah, as I said, there's a long way to go in the season. And if he could make Champions League football and for next season and stay in them positions, and look, you never know. City aren't that far away in second place, so you just got to keep going game by game and hope. And if he does that and stays in a position where he is now in the league, I think it'd be very difficult for the Man United bosses not to give him the job.
I think you're quite right. Do you know what it is? The only thing that I'm weary of, because I see a lot of people online saying Michael Carrick can't get the job, Michael Carrick can't get the job. I think Michael Carrick 100% get the job. And I think what he's shown here by bringing in people like Steve Haaland is he's maybe looked at areas where he might be a little deficient, and he's been able to plug those gaps with that knowledge around him, with the coaches that he's brought in. And I think the biggest test is going to be when we've got more games. When you're not playing 1 game a week, and you're going to need to tinker with the side a little bit more. But I think right now he's doing everything he can do, and it's so important to get a run of games where you're winning, because it brings that belief back, where it's like, oh, we're Man United, and it brings that sort of feeling back when clubs come to Old Trafford and they're scared of playing them. And I think that's what Michael's bringing back. And if you could if you could bridge that psychological gap beforehand, there's no reason why he shouldn't be manager. Who did Zidane manage before he managed Real Madrid? Who did Arteta manage before he managed Arsenal? And who did Pep manage before he managed Barcelona? I think there's precedent there. And bringing in a big name like Luis Enrique, who's to say that's not going to end him in tears anyway? He couldn't handle the pressure from the Barcelona fans when he was there. So, I think, if he can show he's doing the job already, and he's doing it, so you might as well let him do it.
Yeah, I think it comes from the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer job, and I think Ole's getting disrespected so much. With people saying, but it didn't work out with Ole, so you can't go Michael. Michael Carrick's a different character to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, a different manager to Ole. And Ole, actually, when we look back and look at how everyone's done since Sir Alex Ferguson was manager, Ole was probably one of the better ones at what he done. And we got to a Europa League final, obviously lost that on penalties. I think he finished second. Played some good stuff at times, so it was just the way it ended with Ole. So I think Michael is, he's a calming influence on everyone, and he'll just be doing his job. And I'm sure he'd love the job at the end of the season if that's the case. But I think he'll just go about his business quietly. Let the players take all the plaudits when it's going well, and if it's not going well, then I'm sure he'll step in and try and take that pressure off the players. So he's, at the minute, the way he started and the job he's doing is fantastic. So hopefully that can continue.
I feel like I ask you every week, but have you been able to speak to him at all? Exchanged any texts? You don't have to divulge too much. Yeah,
no, obviously spoke to him. Obviously our two lads played as well yesterday in the same team. So spoke to him, and he's just, it's more about just as friends, really, rather than football. It's brilliant, because when you're Man United manager, the last thing you need is your friends phoning and going on about football when he's probably been at it all day and he wants to get away from it. So I think he's in a good place to minute.
Okay, that is where we will end the show then. Thank you, as always, for watching and listening. We'll be back on Friday. You can watch The Wayne Rooney Show on the BBC Sport YouTube and iPlayer, or listen on BBC Sounds.